What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. It's your boy Colby, also known as Patriots Global, back here with my last 2024 mock draft for the New England Patriots. You guys know how this goes already. We did it on Bleacher Report, AFC's Roundtable, even here on the channel. Did some collabs. We are going to be doing an entire 7-round mock draft for the Patriots using PFF's mock draft simulator. If we feel we should trade down or trade up, obviously we will do so. But in today's final exercise, I want to make everything as realistic as possible. Today, I don't want to think about what does Colby want? What does the fan base want? I want to think just how realistic this could be from Gerard Mayo and Elliot Wolf's standpoint. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. Make sure you guys do tune in tomorrow for day one, the first round of the NFL draft. As we do every single year, we're going to be doing a live watch party. This is going to be your one-stop shop for everything involving the New England Patriots draft. Come react to what the Patriots do at number 3 or trading down, who knows, but react to what the rest of the NFL is going to be doing also. Can't wait to see you there. Can't wait to spend time with you. Guys, this is the best part of the year when it comes to this channel. I absolutely cannot wait. But without further ado, let's hop into today's mock draft. Let's see, this one. There we go. So let's just start this. No point in wasting time. Oh, and the board falls exactly how I think it's going to fall tomorrow. I know that as of late, there's been a little bit of question marks on Jayden Daniels to the Washington Commanders, but I think that's all smoke. At the end of the day, Adam Schefter, he doubled down on his reports on Jayden Daniels to the Commanders, even went as far as to say Commanders fans should buy their Jayden Daniels jerseys already. I think everything that's happened the last couple of days is all smoke, especially when today Jayden Daniels went out and kind of debunked all of the rumors going around that his visit with the Commanders didn't go well. So I think they're going Jayden Daniels. I think it makes a lot of sense for them. And I think here at 3, the Patriots are going to go with Drake Maye. I'm not even going to get into the Marvin Harrison Jr. debate. I'm sick of having it. It's a dumb debate. I mean, do you put sprinkles on your cake first, or do you bake your cake first? You bake your cake easily. Like, stop trying to build this team backwards. It just makes no sense. So we're going to go Drake Maye. Big reason why I love Drake Maye so much is because he fits Alex Van Pelt's system so well. And for those of you who believe that the team is not currently built well enough for a quarterback at 3, I'm not going to get into the debate on why you still need to go quarterback, even if he's not currently in the best situation. You can build that situation around him over time. But Drake Maye even said, no matter where he's drafted, ideally from his point of view, he would like to sit his first year. And I think that when you have somebody like Jacoby Brissett signed on a 1-year deal, it's very realistic that Drake Maye can sit for a month, a couple months, the entire season, and that's perfectly fine. To where maybe when he only starts, his first start in New England is in 2025, but the roster around him is built up significantly better. But you hit on your quarterback. That's the most important part. A lot of really good players here still at 34. Not a big fan of Troy Franklin. I've kind of voiced my opinion on him. I don't think he's going to translate very well to the NFL. At least I don't think he's going to be a number 1 wide receiver. Tyler Nubin, the safety, big fan of him. Arguably the best safety in this class. Michael Penix does fall. I will say I don't think Michael Penix falls to the second round. I think he will be a first-round quarterback. A lot of really good players on the board. Let me see who's here at wide receiver. So, wow, there's a lot of really good names here. Dang. So, Devontae Walker, Javon Baker, Xavier Legette, Jalen Polk, all guys that we've talked about before. I do think that somewhere within the first 3 rounds, the Patriots are going to trade down. And I don't think it's going to be the first round if there is a quarterback there that they like, which from what reports say, they do really like Jayden Daniels and Drake Maye. So, they're probably going to pick at 3, meaning that in their 34th pick or with their 68th pick, they probably are going to trade down. And I see a lot of good names here. Like Jalen Polk, I think would be an excellent selection at wide receiver in the with their second pick. I think Xavier Legette is also a really good pick. If he's there, I would snag him. But looking at the amount of players that are there for them, I feel like they would trade down. because 34 is a back end of the first round, right? There are a lot of players that were projected first round picks that are going to fall into the second round. And being the second pick in the second round that the Patriots have, a lot of teams are going to want to try to acquire that to get some of these players that were projected first rounders. So let's see who's calling. We have almost every single team calling us. So we did Green Bay before. We did Green Bay at 41. I do still think that's realistic, but I wonder if with Michael Penix on the board, the Las Vegas Raiders call up the New England Patriots and say, "Hey, we want to trade up with you." So 44 for 34, and let's say the Patriots get 77, and for some reason they don't like that. They don't like giving us 77, but I want more than 112. What do the Packers have? Because we could probably get multiple picks, but I want another pick within the top 100. I know they're not going to give us 50 yet. I meant to hit 88. So I like this. I like this because the Patriots, they're not trading down nearly as far, but they're still going to get themselves a top 100 pick, getting 88 here. That's a lot better of a deal than trading with the Raiders. You think the Raiders would acknowledge that? You might be able to even get probably not 169, but maybe nah, you're not going to get 2-2. You're probably going to get 219. I've done this trade before and they've accepted it. So let's offer this. Patriots able to get, what is this, a sixth and another top 100 pick for 34 just by trading down a few spots. And of course, that trade is accepted. Where does Green Bay go? Green Bay goes with Jordan Morgan, the tackle out of Arizona. Great pick by them. Makes a ton of sense too. And who's on the board for the Patriots? So I want to see everybody that went. Wow. This could not have gone better if you're the Patriots. You add 2 more picks, one in the top 100, and every single player that I wanted at 34 is still here. Realistically, we could continue to trade down, but the last thing I want is there to then be a run on the players that I do want. So it does sound like, wow, Michael Penix still here at 41. That's not realistic. But from what's been said, the Patriots do view wide receiver as a bit of a higher need than offensive tackle. Not that I necessarily agree with that, but again, I think this is what they would do. And I think that in the second round, this is where they're probably going to go with wide receiver. I don't like Keon Coleman, not a big Keon Coleman guy, but he does fit the mold of that big outside X receiver the Patriots need. Not a big fan of going Roman Wilson. I think he'll be a good receiver in the NFL, but he really doesn't give you much outside versatility. Like Ladd McConkey gives you more outside versatility. Roman Wilson, even at Michigan, was really just a slot receiver. So not really a big fan of going there. I like Ricky Pearsall, but he's more of like a bigger slot guy. Can play outside, but he's more utilized at Florida as this bigger slot guy possession, not really fitting the type of guy that they need here. Guys that I would look at are Xavier Legette, Javon Baker, and Devontae Walker. These are all guys the Patriots met with at some point during this draft process. The Patriots actually met with Xavier Legette twice during the draft process. They also met with Devontae Walker twice during the draft process. There were only 2 receivers that they met with multiple times, and it was Xavier Legette and Devontae Walker. It makes a ton of sense that they would be interested in Walker because of his connection with Drake Maye. I love the idea of pairing up a young rookie quarterback with a young rookie wide receiver, especially one that he worked with in college. But even if you look at Walker, like, he did not have a good year this past year. I don't think he'll ever turn into a true wide receiver one. He never eclipsed 1,000 yards at the collegiate level. 699 yards this past year, 921 yards this past year, or 921 yards in 2022. Good contested catch guy on the outside. Had a little bit more issues with drops this past year than he did in previous years, but not very good when it comes to getting open against man. I look at somebody like Xavier Legette, and I've mocked this so many times, but look, if this happens, you run that card up. You run the card up for Drake Maye. You run the card up here. And with Legette, is interesting, and I've said this before, is that he could be a guy that gets taken in the first round. No surprise. He could drop into the early third. Also, no surprise. He did not pop off on the collegiate scene until this past year, where he put up 1,200 yards and an 82 overall PFF grade. Before that, his most productive season came in 2022, where he put up 167 total yards. Question is, are you getting Xavier Legette that was in 2023? Or are you getting the guy that he was in 2022 and 2021? I'm willing to bank on what he finally showed us in 2023. Big outside guy. PFF has him at 6'3", but he clocked in at 6'1". So that's a pretty big difference. I'm not really sure what happened there, but still 6'1" to 6'3", big outside X receiver, only a 2.7 drop rate this past season, 47.6 contested catch rate, very, very good against man, which I think the Patriots need from their wide receivers. But he also ran a 4.39, so he's going to give you speed on the outside too. And having a guy his size being able to do the multitude of different things that he's able to do, I think is just so rare. And this is a guy that you take a chance on. Really, really like how this board is falling. Keon Coleman goes to the Texans. Makes sense. And look, the Raiders still get Michael Penix. They didn't even have to trade up. Ricky Pearsall to the Eagles. Javon Bullard to the Eagles. Wait. Do they have 2 second-round picks? We could probably speed this up a little bit. All right. So with their 3rd-round pick, ideally, if a tackle falls here, this is where I would like to go with an offensive tackle. But again, after like the first 2 rounds, there is a major, major drop-off on tackles. And there's really not a guy after that first batch between the 1st and 2nd round that I would want to go to until like the 5th round, because they're all just developmental. So let's just look at who's here. Also, let's look at who went. So Roman Wilson goes, Xavier Worthy goes, Jalen Polk goes. It's good we didn't trade down because there was a run on wide receivers. Kingsley Suamataia goes at 51. Blake Corum goes really early. Kiran Amagaje goes too. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Roger Rosengarten, there's a run on tackles. Patrick Paul goes a pick before the Patriots. And see, this is what you're left with. Now, I like Blake Fisher, but Blake Fisher, I think, is the type of pick you make when you already went and got your solidified left tackle. Like if you want to double up at tackle, then get Blake Fisher. And the Patriots did meet with him. I think that he's a good tackle out of Notre Dame, but he is a right tackle. He is not a left tackle. And I know that some Patriots fans believe, well, right tackle, left tackle, tomato, just put him over there. If you want a left tackle, go get a left tackle. If you want a right tackle, get a right tackle. Don't make the guy's job harder by trying to switch him and switch positions, right? So Dominic Puni is another guy that the Patriots like. Very raw. I still think we have to see a lot from him to really be able to say what he is in the NFL. But I think he could be a really good left tackle. He's shown the potential at doing so. This is too early for him, though. I wouldn't go here. And we do have another pick coming up pretty soon at 88. So looking at how this went, I'm going to wait on tackle. A lot of people have thrown out the idea of going Brandon Coleman for obvious reasons. Not a fan of Brandon Coleman. Man, if Patrick Paul's had to drop one more pick and he didn't. Let's look at what else the Pats have. Is Devontae Walker? Oh! Well, this just got interesting. Okay. The Patriots could go defense here, and I could see them going edge this early because edge is a way bigger need than it's going to get credit for. I know everybody wants to go like offense within the first like 5 picks, but it's realistic for them to go edge because they need a true pass rusher. Matthew Judon's in contract year, coming off a season-ending injury. Josh Uche's back for another year. He dealt with injuries and wasn't himself last year. So even if you're thinking for 2024, you're thinking past 2024, you need someone in the building because outside of Uche and outside of Judon, the Patriots don't have a true pass rushing edge rusher. So that's something I could see happening, but I could also see them doubling up at wide receiver. Maybe not this early on, maybe not back-to-back picks, but man, how great would that be? And I wonder if Devontae Walker is still here in the third round. If the Patriots look at it and say, we could get Xavier Legette, a guy we met with multiple times, and Devontae Walker, a guy that we met with multiple times, which they clearly liked, and you get both of those guys in the building. They are very repetitive, though, is the only problem. 6'2", 200 pounds. Neither really play in the slot either. So while I would like to double up at wide receiver here, I would prefer probably the McMillan pick because McMillan plays more slot. You could get Xavier Legette and McMillan on the field at the same time. We've done that mock draft before. I think they would look at it and say, I'd rather get a guy, later on to double up at wide receiver because apparently they like the supporting cast they have at receiver too. I think they'll probably view edge as a bigger need. They do like Alex Hunt and Austin Booker. Both are guys they have met with. I think they might have also met with Braylon Trice, but I think I mocked him last time. But Alex Hunt here, 83.4 overall grade, has progressed really, really well on a year-to-year basis. Only concern level for him, for me at least personally, is not great against the run. I don't really care about that too much because they really just need a guy who's going to get to the quarterback first. But he played at a small college. What's it going to be like a new transition to the NFL? That's always one of my biggest worries for some of these, smaller college players. But, Alex Hunt here, 18.9% pass rush win rate, 7.8 overall run stopping rate. Not bad against the run, but I wouldn't say he's great. Obviously, more of a pass rushing edge. 8 sacks this past year, 24 hurries. Just look at one thing. Yeah, so I mean, like Austin Booker, I would say he's not as good of an edge in terms of pass rush, but I think he's a more well-rounded edge. I think the Patriots kind of have guys who can do that between Dietrich Wise and Keon White. So I'm going to go Alex Hunt here. From what's reported, they do really like him. So let's do that. And we'll be up here pretty soon. And maybe the Patriots could double up at wide receiver here. Because offensive tackle, I would assume. So Puny's here. But he's so raw. Do they really want to take a shot this early on a guy who is as raw as Puny is? How big is he actually? 6'5", 320. We haven't mocked him to the Patriots before. And who knows, if he doesn't work out at tackle, like the Patriots might need a left guard. You can always chime out there. Not saying they should, but there is always that backup plan. Who is that wide receiver? Just so I don't like anybody here at wide receiver right now for them. So we're going to pass on wide receiver. And let's make a selection we haven't made before. Patriots will get their new left tackle in Dominic Puny, who I'm pretty sure they also met with. Let me check. Make sure I'm not just pulling that out of nowhere. So the Patriots actually didn't meet with Puny. He's one of the guys they haven't. But again, they're not just going to draft players they strictly met with. All right. So just to recap, what we've done so far is the Patriots have gone quarterback, wide receiver, edge, and now offensive tackle, hitting on really some of their biggest needs. So I don't think you can go wrong here. This is where I would like to look at cornerback or safety. You hit on your top biggest needs offensively. You already hit on edge. Ooh, Cam Kitchens is here. Who do we have at corner? So this is really intriguing because they do need that next outside corner opposite of Christian Gonzalez. But I think that they could be okay at the cornerback position in 2024 and just push that down to 2025. Jonathan Jones is in contract year, has dealt with injuries after injuries after injuries. Marcus Jones coming off of a season-ending injury, and your number one corner, Christian Gonzalez, who hasn't really proven what he is on a consistent basis just yet, also coming off of a season-ending injury. So I think you're playing with fire a little bit there, but I think there is a true opening at free safety. Like cornerback 2, Patriots could could figure that out for the year. But at free safety, if you draft a guy early on, he could be a day one plug and play guy because they don't have that replacement deep. They tried Jalen Mills there. They tried Kyle Duggar. They tried Jabril Peppers. Put players back in the position they succeed. I don't want to see Kyle Duggar or Jabril Peppers playing deep. Cam Kitchens is one of the very few true deep safeties who will actually play in that deep role. And the Patriots do have connections back to the Hurricanes. So that is a move that would make a lot of sense. They also met with Cam Kitchens during the draft process. Some people have thrown out the idea of Sione Vaki. Not a big fan. They did meet with him, but not a fan of Vaki whatsoever. Literally, if you look at this guy, stats aren't even all that great, very raw. This will give you his defensive stats, but when you look at him and try to read about the player he is, it talks about him being a running back. PFF doesn't even know what he's going to be at the NFL level. For those who don't know, played safety, also played running back. What's he going to be at the NFL level? Not 100% sure, but I would assume safety with kind of the issues happening at the running back position. I'm going to go Cam Kitchens here. Okay, the Patriots, like I said, need a guy who's going to be able to play deep. He shined during the 2022 season, took a big step back this past year. If they can get him back to the version he was in 2022, I mean, you're getting a guy who, if he was drafted in 2022, probably would have been a second-round pick. Concerns with him just come with his ability to tackle. 13.7 missed tackle rate is concerning for that last line of defense for a guy that does play deep. But I think that is something that can be coached out, not too worried. And the Patriots get the Devin McCourty replacement. So 137 is the next pick that we got. Let's speed this up. All right. Oh, Muhammad Kamara goes right before the Patriots. I know we got our guy, but oh, man. Imagine doubling up an edge and you getting Muhammad Kamara there too. Oh, be crazy. So we're in the 5th round. Patriots could go after Luke McCaffrey. We've drafted him a lot to the Pats. The Patriots did meet with him. Did they meet with Cornelius Johnson, though? I'm curious. That's a guy out of Michigan. He fits what the Patriots already have with like Xavier Legette. He's like that big outside perimeter X guy, 6'3", 208 pounds, but 81.8 contested catch rate is absolutely absurd. Did the Patriots meet with him? I think they did. Let me make sure. So I actually have him not meeting with the Patriots. So unless I'm wrong, he actually didn't meet with New England. But there's a guy that I like in the later rounds, right? Like I like Luke McCaffrey. We've done this before. I think that they can get another good developmental tight end in like potentially the 6th round. So I want to look at corner. Oh, Cam Hart is there. Oh God, man. That hits home for me. Let's look at running back, although there is a guy in the later rounds that I could see them going. Based off of who the Patriots met with at running back, I don't think they're going to take that position early. I think like 5th to 7th round would be the range that they would take a running back if they ultimately do. Let's go. Who's that offensive tackle? Looks like, ooh. So Javon Foster, but Javon Foster doesn't have any right tackle ability. He's strictly a left tackle. If you're going to double down on tackle, I want a guy who's going to be able to play at multiple positions. So I'm thinking you probably go cornerback here. I'm honestly thinking cornerback. I know that a lot of people are going to want to go tight end. The thing with tight end is I think they're confident with what they have. Austin Hooper's your tight end too. Hunter Henry just signed to a 3-year extension. He's going to be your solidified number 1 guy for the next 3 years. You don't really need that number 1 guy. I think at best we're looking for a tight end 3, and I think they already have that on the roster. So I think you kind of you solidify the defense here. I mean, you get your edge, you get your safety, you solidify cornerback here. Getting Cam Hart in the 5th, I don't know if he's going to last this long, but if he does, you snag him. You snag him if that is the case. Love Cam Hart. Big outside number 2 cornerback who has the potential to honestly become a number 1 guy, but 6'2" gives the Patriots height at that position. I think that would make him the biggest cornerback the Patriots have on the outside, and is a better man corner than he is a zone corner. Showed out really, really well during the Senior Bowl too. He's like a my guy, and that's what I'm going to go with. I know a lot of people are not going to like the amount of defense that I took, but defense solidified for the next several years now. So this is where I'm going to look at a couple of positions. I'm looking at running back. I'm looking at wide receiver. And I'm looking at offensive tackle. So Isaac Guerrero, I don't hate him. That is a guy that New England did meet with. No, they actually didn't meet with him. So a guy I think that they could go with at the running back position would be Carson Steele or Dylan Labe. They met with both of those guys, but I think we could get them with our next pick. So, let's roll. Who do we want to roll the dice on? There's a wide receiver that I want the Patriots to take a chance on. He came from a small school. Actually, he might be gone. Oh, where did he go? He is not a 5th round talent. So I actually don't know where Jalen Coker went out of Holy Cross, because I'm not seeing him on my board. But he is like a 6th round projection. And I don't know why I'm not seeing him, but he is not a guy that should go in the 5th round. Wow. That's that changes up my board a little bit here, folks. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. So this is another guy that I like, but might be a reach here. Joshua Cephas. Obviously, coming from the Roadrunners, not exactly the highest sought school, but again, another guy that's developed really well on a year-to-year basis. Really, really good against man coverage. Not really a contested catch guy, but he's a short-handed wide receiver. Has inside-outside versatility, but is mainly a slot, but isn't going to be this small guy. He's gonna bring height to this receiving core at 6'3", 185 pounds. Developmental guy, but maybe a little early to grab him. Do I really go offensive tackle this early? Because I feel like everybody that I would get here at offensive tackle, everybody I like is a really late round pick. But you know what? Who cares? Let's just get our running back here first. So we're going to roll with Dylan Labe. Like I said, guy the Patriots met with. Might not be their number 1 guy, but I think that he's a really good developmental piece if ultimately you do want to move on from Ramondre Stevenson. But I don't think drafting Dylan Labe means that you're going to be moving on from Ramondre. I just think that it's an insurance policy in case things ultimately do not go well with him. So I think now is where I would take my wide receiver and just hoping that he's still there. So Cephas is still there. I'm going to roll with him on this pick. Just talked about him, so we're not going to run that down again. Patriots double up. You should be able to get Xavier Legette and Cephas on the field at the same time too, as long as, Cephas is able to actually make the final roster. So I really, really like that. Carson Steele, another guy they met with, but we already went running back. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like I might like Carson Steele more than Dylan Labe. Is that a hot take? Might be. But I think now is where we should double up here at offensive tackle. Another guy that they've really liked is Delmar Glaze. I don't think they've met with Frank Crum. Yeah, so the Patriots haven't met with Crum. At least it wasn't reported that they did. But they did meet with Delmar Glaze. And he does have experience playing at right tackle and left tackle. A really good late developmental prospect. that I think the Patriots could target. So we're going to roll with him here. And then I think with this final pick in the 7th round, dude, you just take a shot. So what I'm going to do is, so I really like Solomon Byrd, the edge out of USC. The fact that he is projected to be like a 6th, 7th rounder, dude popped onto the scene this past year. Wasn't really great in 2022 or 2021, but I mean, a good all-around edge setter. Good against the run, good against, getting to the quarterback. Not great at either or, but a well-rounded guy that could probably be like a depth to rotational piece, a 13.9% pass rush win rate. But I look at somebody like Marcus Harris here, and I think that that's a bigger need, right? Like you already went edge. You got that guy. I think somebody like Marcus Harris has the ability to actually play for the Patriots as a 7th round pick here in year 1. Not a great pass rusher, not bad at it either. I would say he's pretty average. I mean, 5.6% pass rush win rate. Still put up 7 sacks, 1 quarterback hit, 16 hurries, and 1 batted pass this past year. But where he shines is as a run stopper. 87.4 overall run defensive grade, 10.2 overall run stop rate, a 6'3", 95-pound interior defensive lineman. New England needs depth there. Not a fan of Devon Godchild. Love him as a person. Don't love him as a player and how he's panned out over the last couple of years. So you kind of find your replacement there. And PFF is going to hate this draft. So I went with J. Alex Hunt. They said I should have went with Marshawn Keeneland instead. But let's see what they have to say. What was my other award? Let's see what my awards were. Oh, some dumb ones. So they loved the Drake Maye move. They liked the Xavier Legette move. Didn't love the G. Alex Hunt, but it could have been worse. Felt the same about Puny. I thought Cameron Kitchens, especially for the value on where we got him, that's around where he's going to go. I don't know how you hate Cam Hart in the 5th round. He's going to go before. That's a steal. Dylan Labe in the 6th. You're just taking a shot. I don't know. I kind of like Carson Steele more, but take your pick, I guess. Cephas is probably going to be a 7th round to UDFA, but again, who cares? 6th round, you're just taking a flyer on a guy, hoping you develop him, and are preventing him from hitting UDFA. And then in the 6th round, Delmar Glaze, you kind of double up at the offensive tackle position, has right tackle, left tackle versatility, and then you get your big interior defensive lineman. I think this is really, really good. I mean, the Patriots hit at wide receiver twice. They hit at tackle twice. They get the quarterback of the future, but then they also hit on major needs defensively and solidifying that defense. If this is how the draft goes this week, I'm fine with it. And all of these guys, well, not all of these guys, but most of these guys the Patriots actually met with. So it also does make it realistic. What are your guys' thoughts, though, on this mock draft? Like I said, tried extra hard to make this one realistic on what they're going to do this weekend and not necessarily what I would do. Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video. And, of course, make sure you tune in tomorrow for day 1 of the draft here on this channel for live coverage on day 1 to see what the Patriots do. As always, appreciate you guys so much for watching. And never forget, go Pats.